Hi, my name is Amy O'Reilly, writer and director of KYF's 2018 film Boyhouse.
What's the worst thing you've ever done? The worst. The absolute worst.
You'll have to forgive the terrible video quality, as I am currently stuck away from home without any of my equipment and no camera, so this is just on my laptop. So, Boyhouse. Boyhouse is a story about two childhood best friends who come up with a sort of pact that once they're in their treehouse and this timer starts, they can ask each other any question they want and they have to get an honest answer. And during one of their honesty sessions, one of them admits to murder.
I killed Stevie Green. What's the worst thing you've ever done? Come on, man, that's not funny.
Boyhouse is one of the more different films I've made. It's very dialogue heavy, it's American influenced, and it's based around two characters in one room. So the location doesn't change and the only characters in the film are our two main characters. I wrote this film alongside my previous film, Georgia. Georgia is a piece with no dialogue at all, and it's all centered around one character and her routine. I feel these two films kind of contrast each other in a way. Boyhouse is all about the dialogue and what the characters are saying with their words, whereas the other is about showing something with no words. It's kind of like a battle between how much you can show with no words versus how you can avoid obnoxious exposition while having a dialogue heavy film, and I don't think that was done very well in Boyhouse. The biggest influences for this film came from certain scenes from American Horror Story Cult. There were these scenes in it where the characters would have this pact, whereas once they were in physical contact with each other, they could ask each other any question and they'd have to be honest with each other, or they couldn't lie to each other.
You know the rules. Once physical contact has been initiated, you've consented to answer all of my questions. Agreed?
So these scenes kind of always stuck out to me between those characters, and the idea of being bound by touch or time to be totally honest with each other was something that was really attractive to me.
And the rules still stand. Rule number 5, no answering a question when you question. Of course they do.
So Boyhouse is kind of like the idea of morals when you're doing that kind of thing. How bound are you to keep it a secret, and how honest can you actually be? So this film doesn't really rely on visuals at all. It's all dialogue. There's no space in between the dialogue, and the focus is all on what the people are saying, not on what you as a viewer are seeing. And here's why I think it could have been stronger and what I'd do a little bit different. So there were a lot of problems with lighting while we were shooting this film. We shot this film in a shed in early February, the day the kind of winter snow had started. It was freezing and our daylight was seriously limited. The only lighting we had was 2 LED lights. We kind of altered the light as it changed outside, which ended up with our lighting being off in different shots in the final cut. This is kind of important when there's only one location and only a handful of shots in the film, so if they don't all match, it's kind of obvious when you've only got one location, you know. We ended up having such a kind of spectrum of lighting in the final edit, whereas we had the blue and cold shots in contrast to the yellow and the warm shots. Kind of makes it look a little off, and it makes it quite difficult when at that point we didn't really know a whole lot about color grading. We didn't know a whole lot about, you know, specific things you have to focus on when you're lighting a film. So, you know, we learn from our mistakes, but the lighting in this film wasn't the best thing ever.
You threatened to hurt my little sister. Are you judging me?
How can I not be?
I don't think that's an answer.
Yeah, I am. How'd you do it anyway?
The dialogue, personally, I think that the script could have gone through another 3 or 4 drafts before we got to the shooting stage. I don't think it was ready to be filmed when we did film. For me, I feel the dialogue is awkward and clunky, and the exposition just kind of leaves the audience feeling like the whole film has been spoon-fed to them. I would have kept working on making the dialogue more natural if I could do it again, and I think I would have dropped the American accents. They don't really work that well. And that's one of the other problems that I had with this film, was the accents. The accents are something I can look back now and say was probably a bad idea. Our cast were 2 Irish non-actors with no voice acting training before, and I was asked them to do the best realistic American accent. I think I know now, having worked with more actors and accents, that pulling off perfect accents is much more difficult than it looks. I know we had a lot of trouble in pre-production with me pushing for the accents to be perfect, so it's kind of disappointing for me to say this. Sorry to anyone that was there during pre-production and they're hearing me say this, because I sound like a bit of a hypocrite, but I really think we could have done something better without the accents. But on the other hand, I do also think that this kind of film wouldn't have worked in an Irish setting. I feel like the kind of story to it has very kind of American vibes to it, American feel, so it wouldn't really work as an Irish short film. Overall, I think Boyhouse has a huge amount of potential. With a couple of script rewrites and maybe a name change, I feel like it has the potential to be a strong short. But as it stands for me now, I think it's more of a learning experience than anything that's of a huge amount of quality. It's not my favourite film I've ever made, but I think it's too easy for people to look back on things that you've made and say that you hate them. I loved working on this film and with the crew, but I think the quality of KYF's films have gotten way better since this one was made. So, yeah. If you've watched this far and you still haven't watched Boyhouse, take a look on the Kildare Young Filmmakers YouTube channel, and be sure to check out all the director's insights with all the films up there too.
What's in the treehouse stays in the treehouse, right?